Welcome to your Daily Dose. My name is Robert, and I'm here with Karen, Yes and Exercise Secretary Emeritus. Thank you so much for everything you do for us. Karen, you are also one of our first class success stories, and we're going to get into that with Diamond Pitch going out in our success stories calendar for 2026, which is very exciting. And one of the things we talked about was, how do you get to be a success story? How do you get to write one? And, your journey, we're going to explore a lot of that, comes through multiple angles, and you did a beautiful job of writing about it. And I encourage everybody to take a look at the page on the website with the Diamond Pitch. Also, though, you looked at the history of the program, cinema therapy, and your many times through. Have you been through 4 classes? Is that right?
I think I've been through officially 3, but as a mentor, I've been through like 6 or 8.
Okay, very good. So you've been around quite a few of them, and some repeats too. So one of the classes you've been through a couple times is Shawshank, and I asked you guys to think about what scenes, because we watch, for everybody out there, we watch clips from a film throughout the course of our 16-week program and take it through the hero's journey. And one of the films is Shawshank Redemption. And so I asked you guys to think about a particular scene that meant something to you, that moved you and stirred you in some way. It doesn't mean there's a one-to-one correlation, like you saw that scene and it made you write a thing, but it meant something to you. And you picked out a scene here from Shawshank Redemption. Do you want to set this up? Just a couple words. Don't tell everybody too much, but why this scene?
Well, partially because I'm so scared of heights, and the way they filmed it was just, you thought Andy was going off that roof. He was there. There was just almost not tipping him off the roof. No matter how many times I see it, I still get, he's going, but he's not going to, but he, and just the way he talked his way out of it.
All right. Well, let's take Andy to that rooftop. Let's watch the scene, and then we will react to that. This is from Shawshank Redemption, Andy's rooftop scene. Here we go.
Ran off years ago, figured him for dead anyway. So anyway, this lawyer fella says to me, his brother died a rich man, oil wells and shit. Close to $1 million.
$1 million?
Yeah. Fucking incredible how lucky some assholes get.
Jeez Louise, you gonna see any of that?
35,000. That's what he left me.
Dollars?
Yep.
Holy shit, that's great. That's like winning the sweepstakes. Isn't it?
Dumb shit. What do you think the government's gonna do to me? Take a big wet bite out of my ass is what? Or Barry?
Terrible fucking luck. You crying shame. Some people really got it awful. Like, you nuts. Keep your ass on your mouth, man. Well, all right, you're going to pay some taxes, but you'll still end up.
Oh, yeah. Maybe enough to buy a new car, and then what? I got to pay tax on the car. Repair, maintenance, goddamn kids pestering you to take them for a ride all the time. Then at the end of the year, you figure the tax wrong, you got to pay them out of your own pocket. I tell you, Uncle Sam puts his hand in your shirt and squeezes your tit till it's purple. He's a true man. That gets up first. What you doing? You said we should get this up, Joe. What you don't know? Some brother. Shit.
Mr. Hadley, do you trust your wife?
Well, that's funny. You're gonna look funnier sucking my dick with no teeth.
What I mean is, do you think she'd go behind your back, try to hamstring you?
That's it. Step aside, Mert. This fucker's having himself an accident.
You're gonna push him off the roof. Because if you do trust her, there's no reason you can't keep that 35,000.
What did you say?
35,000.
35,000.
All of it.
All of it?
Every penny.
You better start making sense.
If you want to keep all that money, give it to your wife. The IRS allows a one-time only gift to your spouse for up to $60,000.
Bullshit. Tax-free?
Tax-free. IRS can't touch 1 cent.
You're that smart banker would kill his wife, aren't you? Why should I believe a smart banker like you? So I can end up in here with you?
It's perfectly legal. Go ask the IRS. They'll say the same thing. Actually, I feel stupid telling you this. I'm sure you would have investigated the matter yourself.
Yeah, fucking A. I don't need no smart wife-killing banker to tell me where the bear shit in the buckwheat.
Of course not. But you do need someone to set up the tax-free gift for you. That'll cost you. A lawyer, for example.
Bunch of ball-washing bastards.
Right. I suppose I could set it up for you. That would save you some money. You get the forms, I'll prepare them for you. Nearly free of charge.
I'd only ask 3 beers apiece for each of my co-workers.
Co-workers, get in. That's rich, ain't it?
I think a man working outdoors feels more like a man if you can have a bottle of suds. It's only my opinion, sir. What are you Jimmy staring at? Back to work. Go work.
And that's how it came to pass that on the second to last day of the job, the convict crew that tarred the plate factory roof in the spring of '49 wound up sitting in a row at 10 o'clock in the morning, drinking icy cold Bohemia-style beer, courtesy of the hardest screw that ever walked a turn at Shawshank State Prison.
Wake up while it's cold, ladies.
The colossal prick even managed to sound magnanimous. We sat and drank with the sun on our shoulders and felt like free men. Hell, we could have been tarring the roof of one of our own houses. We were the lords of all creation. As for Randy, he spent that break hunkered in the shade, a strange little smile on his face, watching us drink his beer.
Hey, want a cold one, Andy?
No thanks. Gave up drinking.
You could argue he'd done it to curry favor with the guards.
You could argue, I suppose. All right, Karen, you chose a beautiful scene. You tell me, why did you choose that scene and what are you feeling right now?
The best part is Andy doesn't drink. He doesn't drink. He just did that for his buddies as an extra. I mean, I really don't know if he had, if the character had in mind what that was going to lead to him volunteering to do this. But just everything about, how scared you were for him and how scared his buddies were for him that he was going off that roof. How convinced that was going to happen. The people on the ground were waiting for it to happen. And he just, in that heat of the moment, but quick, made sense. I mean, even Hadley, like he said, like Morgan Freeman said, managed to sound magnanimous. I guess he said it, and it was just I like that scene better than most in the whole movie for all the reasons, especially because Andy, just not a drinker himself, understood those guys needed that to feel like men while they were working their butts off in the sun.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. And to go with the first thing I heard you say was about the generosity of spirit in incredibly harsh times, right? People talk about, I'll give when I can, or I'll give when it's appropriate, this, that, and the other. Andy all but gave his life. He put his life on the line. And while his life was still on the line, had the audacity to say, nearly free of charge. And it was two-sided to that. Number one, he was, yes, doing something for his guys because, he was showing he had started to get in with them. They liked him at this point, but this was going to put him over. This was going to make him a legend. But it was also a play to Hadley to say, this is what men do. Men like you, and I want you to respect me as a man, even if, like you say, I'm not going to drink the beer. But I'm going to show you what men do because I know what men are like. Good, smart men like you, Hadley. And oh my God, I mean, I think you heard me say many times, Andy, especially right about now, starts playing chess when the rest of them are playing checkers. He starts to get ahead of Byron, of the other guards, even of his fellow inmates, not on purpose to degrade them, but just to say, I need to be ahead in order to accomplish the impossible. And then he gets up and over on the warden. And that's really, really incredible when you consider the power play between them. So, yeah, no, I love that there's many reasons why that scene works.
Many. It's just all of it. Just that part with him sitting there with that smile on his face, it comes up in a lot of trailers, and it's really the turning point, like you said. He completely changes the game from that moment on.
Yeah, you know what? It's a rediscovery of his humanity. That's a good point you bring up, because up to that point, we talk about what was lost from the time of, an inappropriate uh, judgment against him because he didn't murder his wife, to where he was shocked, he was traumatized, he was in survival mode. He literally got raped for years on end. This wasn't like once or twice. This was for the better part of 2 years, this ongoing stalking, raping that the Boggs and the sisters were doing, and somehow found a way to survive that. And it was good enough to be, with the guys, but it had the abuse from Boggs hadn't stopped yet. Even though he had the guys with him, none of them stood up to the sisters, right? I don't know if Andy had it in his mind yet. You could make an argument that he was going to need Boggs to stop the sisters, but at least, I mean, that's what happened, of course, but at least he was going to lay the groundwork to say, I need the impossible. The first impossible, I need the guards on my side. That's impossible. And he did it, right?
Exactly.
Step one.
He made himself indispensable in a lot of ways. And that was to his detriment in the end too. But yeah, it was definitely the first big step.
Yeah. Yeah, because, it's just it's not the same as being in prison or being out of prison. It's all the space in the wall in between. It's the slow chipping away. And like you say, being of value. I mean, and when we talk about themes of worthlessness, which come up a lot, both as I brought forth my personal, but I just see them in a lot. It came up in the Dead Poets Society scene. It is one of the great fears of our life is that we are worthless.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Right. And that is the place where we go to isolate, to feel shame, as we've been talking a lot about, and to the extreme levels to even kill ourselves, right? Because it's like, I have no value to myself or anyone else, and therefore, goodbye, cruel world, as it says. And this is the beginning of, in that thematic place of worthlessness, to say, how do I find value, in a impossible situation? And it was by listening. There it is, bottom line, right? Something was going on, and on the one hand, you get Haywood making a joke. He can't think, but Andy hears it differently. And he says, wait a minute, taxes. I know something about taxes. And the way he's thinking about this is not going to serve him as well. What if I served Hadley? Craziest thought ever. Prisoner serving the hardest screw to ever walk Shawshank, right? No, what if I could offer him something of value? This is something an average person doesn't do unless they're really listening. But Andy was really listening. It caught him. It made sense to him. And the way he turned on his heel and walked to them, he was almost in a trance. I mean, here's Red saying, Andy, keep your eyes on your mop, man. You crazy? And he hears that, and yet it's like he was pulled. It's like, I can't help myself. Even if this is my death, I'm going to go forward as the truthful person that Andy Dufresne is. And the way he even asks those questions, it's incredibly awkward and understandably misunderstood by Hadley. Do you trust your wife? Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Do you think she'd hamstring you? You're having an accident.
Exactly. That was just the whole thing. Oh my gosh, he'd said that, but it worked. It worked. And that is like you said, there's many reasons this scene works, but every word put into it is why. It just has you like this, What's going to happen? Oh.
We talk about, in storytelling, often raising the stakes. And to your original point about the tension in the scene, about heights, that's a wonderful way to raise the stakes. If they were in the yard or later on the road working on something, they wouldn't have a rooftop to fall off of. But because they had a rooftop, remember we talked about the importance of the environment. It's not just that they're up on the rooftop, it's that the rooftop is 4 stories high, that you could die from up there. How, as a writer, can I use that? Well, I'm going to put them on the edge of it. And like you said, it is a gripper. So we have a relatively short amount of time. I'm sorry, but I do want to get into this. Diamond Pitch, your story, is one where you have stakes. And I think where the stakes for Wendy get really high and wonderful is when you introduce her to her own rooftop world, which in a sense is Oakland that she comes back to, right? When did you decide to make it dangerous, and what was the difference for you as a writer that you leaned into the danger of her return home to a dangerous environment?
In part because I really didn't know if I'd ever come back to California and see some of these places that I've seen, and getting past my own fear of walking in what used to be my backyard. And it made sense after so many times of going through the program that I did have to raise the stakes, and it just kind of flowed out of me. Honestly, I was surprised at what I was writing as I was writing it, and it just, and then everybody got excited. Our ensemble, everybody started getting excited with me, and the first time was great, but the second time was even better, and I just, it made sense, and I'm glad everybody could see it made sense, and it. I'm not Wendy. Thank you very much.
Well, that's an important distinction, and one I want to pull as I let my dog out here really quickly. Yes, Go on, Stella. The importance of you not being Wendy, and therefore being able to separate what you, Karen, dealt with in the city you grew up in and knew, and then being able to fictionalize that for the sake of the story. What was the journey like to get you to let go of Wendy as you? Because I think for a while she was. What was the journey like to let go of her, and what did you learn when you gave yourself that aesthetic distance?
Just the possibilities were endless. I wasn't limited to the things that Karen could and couldn't do growing up and now. That the world I couldn't control. And just wait a minute, I can do this, not me, but Wendy can do this. Just because Karen is limited in this ways doesn't mean Wendy is. And then there was other things that were happening that I was able to spin and put it into these different characters as I was character building, test allies and enemies, or this stage that Andy was in this scene. And, as I was looking back at the Field of Dreams scenes, and similar, test allies and enemies is what gets me, and that's where everything happens. I'm reading Chris Vogler's book too. I'm almost at the end of that book. And even in that version, test allies and enemies is where all the action happens. So all the setup happens. You got to have your structure good before that. And then this is where the it takes off no matter what movie you're watching almost. And basically in this one, this is really where Andy had to think quick and make it happen and make it work. A do or die moment. And the do or die moment with Wendy, there's a few. And it just, looking back at it now again with both movies side by side, I can't wait to keep working on it.
Well, thank goodness to you and for us that you did raise the stakes to do or die. We talk about that all the time, having life or death circumstances. Not only did you give yourself power, like you mentioned, you gave yourself freedom. And the story and we, the readers, are the beneficiaries of that you cared enough and were brave enough to go there, that in one's own life, and this is so prominent, it's hard to see ourselves as heroes. B, it's hard to see ourselves as powerful enough to do anything interesting enough to make a story. And again, that's the truth of storytelling. Of course, things are bigger than life. It doesn't mean they're not true. They're allegorically or metaphorically true. They're inspirationally true, right? That's the type of truth we need to do something impossible like find a cure for Parkinson's.
Yes. find a cure for Parkinson's and start life over at 56 on your own with Parkinson's too. I mean, I'm not windy, but it does. It has helped me tremendously to be able to structure this person that's not me as side by side. I'm trying to restructure and rebuild what the heck I'm doing in life, and having the back and forth and the confidence building and fighting the worthless feeling specifically. Just seeing my little yes and exercise next to that and having you thank me for that and the validation I'm getting with that and purpose and everything else is bigger than anything. And it's just, yeah, and seeing that dream come true, tears to my eyes type stuff.
Well, this is real, and this is what I want to point to everyone to as we wrap here, to say Diamond Pitch, a city in ruins, a field forgotten, and one woman's fight to make them shine again. Is lovely title, lovely tag. And in full disclosure, I was not a huge fan of the title at first. It's really grown on me. The
so
work
glad.
you did collectively with Sharon to make that lovely poster really is nice. The diamonds hold you truth, the double entendre of that, and the truth will set you free that she needs to find in herself, in the community, in others. Again, fantastic. And I want everybody to come here to Success Stories, look right under here, find Diamond Pitch, take a read of this summary. Take a read of Karen's story of how she got here, because it's fantastic, it's worthwhile, and it's part of this Success Stories 2026 calendar, which I'm so excited to be shipping soon. For all of you who want a copy of that for yourself, come and be join our Sustainer Circle. You can do that on our website by going to the giving page, and you'll see that any contribution you want to make on a monthly level will get you to become part of our Sustainer Circle, and will get you a copy of this calendar, along with benefits like the Yes and Exercise Improv Jam for Joy classes, and 20% discount off the cinema therapy classes, knowing that those things are transferable. You can share them. So, Karen, thanks so much.
Thank you so much. I just wish my mom was here to see it. But she is in her own way. Thank you.
There you go. She is. Karen, you be well, and we'll see you soon. You take care.
You too.
All right. See you on the next dose, everybody.